The following is a presentation of Team Glory Sports.
It's 9:05 at 97.5 Glory FM, and welcome once again to the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Hey, good morning. I'm Mike Wofford. Welcome to 97.5 Glory FM. We're live from the Sports Center this morning as we bring you the latest in local sports on the high school, college, and pro scene. We'll have guests this morning on the show featuring Cassie Scott, the head girls basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff. Also, we'll be talking hopefully with Brendan Shabat, the Director of Athletic Communications at the University of North Georgia. We'll talk to the host of our fishing show, Hooked on Lanier, Brandon Whitesides joins us. Also, we'll be talking with Harper O'Bell about football and Dave Cohen about college basketball from Georgia State all this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. And we welcome everyone who's tuned in to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. Get a chance to see me working behind the scenes here on a Saturday morning here at 97.5 Glory FM. Glad you're with us here. You can always go to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports, and you get a chance to see me work here behind the scenes and talk about high school sports, talking to all our guests going on this morning. So we'll not be talking to Brandon Smith. I just got a message from him. They're a busy day up at the University of North Georgia. Lots going on with the men's and women's basketball teams, as the women are the number one team in the Peach Belt Conference, getting ready for the last couple of weeks of the regular season, getting ready for March Madness, while Dave Cohen is in Norfolk, Virginia. Hopefully get a chance to talk with him. He said he may be on the bus heading over to the arena to get ready for their game this evening for Coach Jonas Hayes, coming off that loss to James Madison back on Thursday. While today a big one in the SEC as Georgia goes up against Auburn, the number one team in the nation. Also a day there is high school basketball state playoff action right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Joe Gailey back with me today as we'll be bringing you the second round boys matchup between East Hall. They'll be playing at home as they go up against the Cross Creek Razorbacks out of Augusta this afternoon. Starting with tip-off at 6, we'll go on the air just after the 5:30 news here on 97.5 Glory FM, live from the Seth Vining Gym there at Valhalla at East Hall. Last night, as you heard right here, it was Chesapeake's girls falling to a very good Heritage Catoosa team up in Ringgold in northwest Georgia by a final of, they lost that game 64-45, I think it was the final score in that ball game, losing by 19 points last night. And you live and die by the three. They had 13 three-pointers against Cross Creek back on Wednesday, could not hit a three-pointer last night. And I really credit the fact that it was the background there at Heritage. They just couldn't get their bearings when it comes to the distance hitting a three-pointer. But then we hit the two. That was in the fourth quarter by Caroline Bull playing her final game at Chesapeake as they fall last night. But what a great season it was for them. They go 20-9 overall on the season, and they end their year in the Sweet 16 round of the Class AAA state playoffs. But also last night, you'll be hearing just a couple of minutes, Coach Cassie Scott of Cherokee Bluff, her Lady Bears made history again last night. They advanced to their first ever quarterfinal in their 7-year history of the team, as they'll be going into the quarterfinal round on Tuesday at home right here on 97.5 Glory FM. They'll play their final game this season at home, because if they win, they're going to Fort Valley State College on Friday to play in the Final Four of the Class AAA state playoffs. And they won their game last night with a big second half, defeating Doherty last night by a score of 56-40. You'll be hearing from Coach Cassie Scott in just a few minutes here on 97.5 Glory FM. There's baseball action yesterday on the scoreboard. It was North Hall falling to Lovett in a big matchup between two top teams in Class AAA, as it was Lovett. In fact, Lovett's in the higher classification. In fact, it was Lovett defeating North Hall by a score of 2-1 in a big one there. Also, it was the, get the right scores here. Yeah, Cherokee Bluff back on the winning schedule, as they're now even on the season 3-3. Had a big win over Wesleyan yesterday, 13-6. Also, it was Flying Branch winning their game over at the Lake Point Complex over toward Edison near Cartersville. as they won their game against Peach County by a score of 6-3. And Chestatee lost their game yesterday to Central Carrollton in a big one there for Coach Griffin Olsen's team. Looking forward to bringing you high school baseball in a couple weeks right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Get the weather a little warmer and also get through with high school basketball before we get ready to start the high school baseball season here on 97.5 Glory FM. Pitchers and catchers have reported, and the Atlanta Braves are getting ready for a spring training game today down in Florida, as they're just a little over a month away before they start the regular season for the 2025 Major League Baseball season for our Atlanta Braves. College baseball also this weekend with the University of North Georgia and also the University of Georgia getting ready to start their season. The college that they started out last week, this is weekend number two for the Bulldogs, is they have had a big off-season totally redoing and upgrading Foley Field down in Athens. I hear it's a showcase now to watch college baseball there for the University of Georgia. And also around the area, see some other high school basketball action from last night. The Beaufort girls, they advanced. North Forsyth girls, they also advanced. They're still undefeated on the season as they advance to the quarterfinals of the high school basketball state playoffs. Today, boys action again, as it will be East Hall at home as they go up against Cross Creek. Also today at 4 o'clock, it will be the White County girls. They will be playing Baldwin down in Millersville today. If the Lady Warriors win, they'll go up to Catoosa County next Tuesday to take on that Heritage team in the quarterfinal round of the Class AAA state playoffs, and they take on Baldwin this afternoon at 4 p.m. And we'll bring you more details on what's happening on the local high school sports scene, high school baseball, high school basketball, and a lot more right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Coming up next, we talk to Coach Cassie Scott, the head coach of the Cherokee Bluff girls. They're making history once again. We talk to her coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Well, let's hope so. Get the right thing going here again. And let's see what's going here. So that's not playing, and that's not playing again. So my computer keeps wanting to mess up on me here on Saturday mornings. And let's see if I can get back where it should be. So you see me work here behind the scenes here with our computer. And it's like my file, it disappeared, but there it is. I think. Let's see if we can get it going here as we bring you more coming up next. Well, we don't have commercials playing right now, so let me see if I can regroup here and see what's going on. And my file is not playing. All right, let's see if I can back up here and punt and get my commercials going the old-fashioned way here. So stay tuned. We got much more for you coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show, 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports. We got much more for you coming up next. Stay tuned. We'll be talking with Coach Cassie Scott and more coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Stay tuned. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM.
Your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Hello.
Hey, Mary.
Hope Bunch, the voice of Long Street Cafe. What's up?
I'm calling everyone and reminding them about our home-cooked meals, great variety, and friendly atmosphere.
Wow, Hope, that's a good idea.
I was hoping you would think so. I want you to call everyone whose last name begins with a C all the way through Z.
No, wait.
Thanks, Mary.
Long Street Cafe, with 2 Gainesville locations. Online at longstreetcafe.com.
We put the home in cooking, and Mary, you put the friend in friendship.
Okay, I'm calling them.
All right, now I think everything's back to normal here on 97.5 Glory FM. Let's go to the phones down. Talk to Coach Cassie Scott, the head girls basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff. Hey, Cassie.
Good morning, Mike.
How you doing, girl?
I'm tired soaking it in, but I'm doing all right. I woke up another day, had my coffee, so we're on the right track.
There you go. That is good to hear. So congratulations on the win last night. Again, making history, girl. That was a big win for you.
It was. We played a phenomenal team. They had a point guard that she was tough, and we faced a little bit of adversity early, but my girls responded well, and we finished the way we needed to.
All right, so tell me about making the adjustments through the adversity last night in that first half.
We just started out slow. We couldn't hit a shot. I think Bristol had 2 points in the first half. Claire had 4 points, and it wasn't because we weren't getting shots. We just couldn't knock anything down. We didn't have a good free throw shooting night, just in general. So I just told them at halftime. My message was simple. These next 2 quarters are going to determine if you guys want to keep playing or not. And they responded, and we did what we needed to in the second half.
All right, so I know it was a team effort from last night, but I know you had to rely on Claire to get going in the second half.
Yeah, Claire, she cracks me up. She'll come up to me at halftime, and she, what do you need me to do? And I was like, keep shooting. There's nothing else. You defend, keep shooting. Once your one shot falls, the rest will come, and that happened. And they did a good job, though, even when, they weren't hitting shots, getting others involved. And Audrey, Emery, Hallie, they all stepped up in the scoring game. And then defensively, Brooklyn Phillips, she did her thing yesterday. So just an all-around team effort, and I'm super proud of the girls.
Talking with Coach Cassie Scott, the head girls basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff, defeating Doherty, a high school out of Albany, by a score of 56-40. And you see right now, cities don't really mean anything anymore, do they?
They don't. And one of my really good coaching friends put it in perspective to me the other day when I was talking to him. He's like, in the state playoffs, you can win by 50 or win by 1 point. The goal is to survive to the next round. So that's been kind of the mindset I've kept. And we just taking it one game at a time. We will find out today who we will play between the winners of Monroe and Northwest Whitfield.
All right, so you'll get a chance to try to see them in person, you think?
I don't think I can make it in person, but I am going to be watching it on NFHS. So I'll
there you
be able
go.
to get a little bit of a live scouting report. So
okay.
We'll see.
Yeah, the great NFHS. There you go. Get a chance to see it online from that standpoint.
Absolutely.
Well, I know that Northwest Whitfield finished behind Heritage, so I know they're a good basketball team. Monroe, they finished ahead of Doherty, right?
They did. They won their region championship in that way. So Monroe's tough. They have one of the top players in the nation. She's a sophomore guard. She's just great, but we'll game plan the best way possible. Should we see Monroe, and then should we see Northwest Whitfield, they got a point guard as well that's, she leads the pack. So there's a lot of different aspects to my game planning dependent on the opponent, but I'll do what I can before Tuesday and get it in with our girls and get ready to work and play again then.
So you're playing your last game at home this year coming up on Tuesday. Tell me about the advantage you have, the importance of playing at home.
It's been great. Anytime you can play on your own home court is a great advantage, but what makes it special for us is our Bluff community comes in big in all aspects, and they're there to support the kids, and that's all I can ask for as a coach. We have a lot going on now that it's soccer and baseball, and so those that could show up yesterday, they did awesome. They were involved in the game. They cheered. So just having that alone, and just being on your own home court it's a great advantage. So I'll take advantage of that as much as I can. Obviously Tuesday will be another big game for us, and I'm just thankful that it is on our home court again.
Well, the reason I mention that because I've heard stories about Monroe, for example, down in Albany, and how it is down there, and that you don't want to play down there. And also, Northwest Whitfield's not nearly as bad, but still about 2.5-hour trip. And it's nice when you're at home on Tuesday, you get a chance to have a normal day, and that's the really important. Tell everybody about really how important it is to get into that routine.
It is very important. We get our girls come down after classes. We get a team meal. We kind of sit and just get to enjoy each other's company for a few minutes. They get to shoot and go at their own pace of that. They get changed, and then we start locking in an hour before games. And I like to tell people this, and I actually got this from Coach Huffman over at Lakeview, is he collects cell phones before game time. And I started implementing that mid-year last season, and that alone has done wonders because I make them mentally get locked into the game and have them communicate with their teammates. And so he gave me that idea. I ran with it, and it's been great. So just being able to stay in those routines and get into our own groove and get ready to play it's huge. And when you don't have to travel, that's just a bonus in any aspect.
So I know the importance of a three-pointer, but got a little surprised last night when Haley Wilson got that three, which really sparked some things also there in the third quarter.
Yeah, she's coming in big for us. Just the thing with her is making sure we keep her out of foul trouble, but she's playing in her role extremely well. And Audrey's always going to give us 100%. That's just who she is as a player. But when we have our Brooklyn Phillips that steps up on defense, that provides a spark for us. And then, Emery's coming back slowly but surely at the right time. And I'm thankful to have the group of girls. Nina Harbuck doesn't get a lot of recognition right now. But she does a lot for us. She's kind of the Audrey role in the sense of they'll do the dirty work. Those two, I can tell them to go get the ball and they'll go get that. So they're just playing well. Mac Warren, I have a solid group of 8-9 kids that I can rotate in. And that doesn't exclude my bench. I have a lot of young freshmen that sit on my bench that are getting exposed to these moments, and they're great teammates. They cheer on their team the whole game. They don't complain about not playing. They're truly bought into what we're doing, and I can't ask for anything more than that.
Well, that's a great point. I heard an ex-post the other day about coaches looking at just body language, and they say they'll go back and look at the film and look at just at their bench and see how the players are reacting.
Absolutely. And my girls can tell you, if you talk to them every time about what does Coach Scott think about body language, that plays a huge role for me. And I look at all those things, and I tell them I look at that. I watch film in multiple ways, and it's something. It's part of the culture that you have to create as a program. So it's not something we talk about just at the beginning of the season. We talk about it every single day, and I tell them, I say, you guys are going to start dreaming about the words I tell you, because I want you to know that this is going to carry over more than what basketball is. This is a life aspect thing too. Body language is everything. So I totally agree with that. And like I said, I have a group of girls that are bought into that, and I feel like I'm repetitive, and I said it last night on the radio, but I set a standard, and these girls have met the standard, and they're exceeding that standard. So all I can do is keep raising that bar, and I know that they're going to show up every single time. Well, it may start out slow sometimes, but we'll get there eventually.
I hope they realize, because we see it so often, we're not promised tomorrow, and a girl can turn one way and blow an ACL, for example, right, and it's over. The boys found out the other night, they were just shocked. It's like, there's no way in the world we thought they would lose that game to Peach County, but it's like, okay, the season's over, and it's like, okay, every time you don't want the pressure out there, but you want to have the fun. It's okay. Lay it all out there for you tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one way I tell them, like, we can't look too far ahead. We focus on what our now is,
Sure.
and we take it one day at a time. And that's my most important message: is we got to have fun throughout the process, because no matter how the results end up, we've made a lot of school history this year. And,
Oh, absolutely.
And they have a lot to be proud of. Obviously, we don't want to be done yet, but we're just going to keep chopping wood and seeing how it folds out for us.
Hey, I've already got you scheduled. We got you Tuesday night. We'll go there. I guess right 5:30. Tip will be at 6 p.m. on Tuesday night.
Right.
And then we're getting ready to go down to Fort Valley on Friday, okay? Going from that
Yeah.
standpoint, and then to Macon on the 5th.
That's the plan.
All right, Cassie, final thing. Tell everybody about a big day for Bristol Kirsch.
Yeah, she. Are you talking about today?
Yes.
Yeah, she's going out to a private workout over at FSU for soccer. So, she amazes me with how much she can do in such short period of times. But, that's just what Bristol does. And I have no doubt that she's going to have a great day today. But that's just the competitor that she is, and hopefully get some rest a little bit in between the couple days that we play, and we'll get rocking and rolling on Tuesday.
But what's interesting to me, you keep forgetting it sometimes, you got girls who are multi-sport athletes.
Yeah, oh, I have a few. So Audrey Graham and Mac Warren are softball players. Bristol, she does her soccer thing. It cracks me up because, like, Thursday, Audrey had batting practice after our practice. So I don't think a lot of people realize how much time and energy these girls put into the sports that they do on top of excelling in their academics. It's amazing to watch what they do and how they do it with so much poise. But they live up to the true term of a student athlete. So I'm proud to have them on my side, and I cheer them on no matter what the aspect is, whether it's on the court, on the field. I know that I have great girls that are representing our community well.
Very good. So it would be the Cherokee Bluff girls playing at home on Tuesday at 6 against either, was it the Lady Tornadoes there of Monroe or the Lady Bruins of Northwest Whitfield out of Tunnel Hill in Northwest Georgia. Looking forward to that. Thanks, Cassie. We'll see you on Tuesday, okay?
Sounds great, Mike. Thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll talk to you then, okay?
Yes, sir.
That is
Okay.
Cassie Scott joining us this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM as they make history once again as they're heading to their first ever quarterfinal matchup coming up on Tuesday again against the winner of the game between Northwest Whitfield and Monroe of Albany coming up this afternoon, and we'll tell you more about it later on right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Coming up, so we got much more. We'll have another guest coming up soon here on 97.5 Glory FM and online at Team Glory Sports on YouTube.
Your home is part of you, and keeping it comfortable and well-maintained is essential. Conditioned Air Systems is North Georgia's solution for residential heating, air, and plumbing services. For more than 40 years, our family has been committed to delivering the highest quality service by our certified technicians and plumbers. Experience the difference today when you choose Conditioned Air Systems for your home's heating, air, and plumbing needs. Quality you can feel, service you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Beaufort, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/black and blue.
And welcome back to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Earlier this morning, we had Hooked on Lanier, week number 4 of the program. And joining us is one of the co-hosts, Brandon Whitesides, once again to talk about the show. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
Another good show this morning, sir.
I think so as well. It's a good way to spend a Saturday morning when it's this cold, and that would be indoors versus outdoors.
So, are the fish biting yet?
Well, they are, and back to staying indoors versus outdoors this coming week, we're going to have a nice warm-up. So I think I saw Monday's high temperature, of course this is in the afternoon, mid-60s, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, approaching 70. So that is when I'm going to get out and fish, Tuesday and or Wednesday. Very excited about it. But I have kept the beat on the fish. Back to fish to be caught and how to do it. We had a great set of calls this morning, starting with Captain Ron Mullins, who gave a very detailed report on his strategy for this upcoming week. And if you were listening, you have lots of good information to use and start with to maximize your chances to catch fish this coming week. And that would predominantly be looking for the schools of bait deep and 50, 60, 70, 80 feet of water. And once you find the schools of bait deep in the creek channels out towards the main river channels, you deploy live bait vertically right down on the schools of bait, and the predators will not be far away. So very excited, Mike. Hopefully you'll be doing something fun.
What, today?
Well, today, next week.
We're busy doing high school basketball. We got a game today and Tuesday and maybe Friday of next week, and just keep on doing the same old thing. How about next week's show?
Well, next week's show is shaping up to be great, predominantly fishing-based theme. And the idea with lining up those types of guests, Mike, is, you think about how fast time goes by. I blinked and I turned 50. I blinked and we're already a month into this radio show, this new radio show, Hooked on Lanier. And then if you blink again, spring is right around the corner and it'll be here. And so next week, same kind of theme as this week. We want to keep talking about the transition that's happening now and what's going to happen. And that would be the lake's going to warm up. And when that happens, the fish, the pattern that we've been talking about so far this winter will change into a spring pattern. And we're going to learn about that next week. We're going to have Captain Clay Cunningham. He's going to call back in. He called in about a month ago, so he's going to call in and really educate the audience on the spring technique before the fish are up spawning. So they call it the pre-spawn. And then hopefully we're going to have, we've talked to DNR so far, biology and law enforcement, and next Saturday we're going to hopefully have the environmental division of DNR on the show, and they'll be specifically talking about the rain we've had this winter and just the overall health of the lake in terms of water quality, runoff, and things like that.
All right, so it's going to be an interesting show again. If you missed the show this morning, you can go to our YouTube channel at Team Glory Sports. You get a chance to look at it and also the other shows we've had so far on the air, and you'll learn a lot about Lake Lanier with Hooked on Lanier with Brandon Whitesides and Harper LaBelle every Saturday morning at 6:05 right here on 97.5 Glory FM. And tell you what, I keep learning. Harper's off the air this morning. You keep seeing me off the air. You'll see me nodding my head. I've learned something every time, Brandon.
Well, the mission accomplished, Mike. That's exactly, that's the primary thrust of the show. We want people to be educated. We want people to, when they take the time to go fishing, we want them to catch, Mike. And so rather than go out there blindly fishing, you would never do that if you're hunting. So you certainly don't want to do that when you're fishing. And we're very happy and we're very excited to provide the information. Not where it's just us talking, but it's where we have the experts talking, like professional fishing guides and weekend warriors. We talked to one this morning, and we'll talk to more in the future, and the list goes on and on in that realm.
Hey, put on your calendar, too. 2 weeks is daylight savings time, okay? Just think about that.
Thank heavens. Yeah.
Get ready for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get ready for it. Get ready for your, I don't know what it is. It stays lighter, an hour or two longer. But there's just something about that hour, 1 to 2 hours longer that each day becomes, Mike. It just feels like, in terms of personal productivity, certainly fishing, it almost feels like, man, I got 4 more hours each day for whatever reason. But yeah, I can't wait for it to be here.
All right, looking forward to next Saturday morning, 6:05, Hooked on Lanier with Brandon Whitesides and Harper LaBelle. Thanks much, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay, Mike, and hey, you got baseball coming up, so I'll be excited to listen to that.
All right, you got it. We'll have that coming up in just a week and a half, I think. We've got that and got basketball today. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports with the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
The experts are saying that it's going to be another tough year for the flu. Last year it started in October and lasted until May. It's never too early to get your flu shot, and you can stop by Riverside Pharmacy and get yours today. The pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can not only give you your flu shot, but if you get the flu, they can fill your prescription. They'll even deliver them in the Gainesville area. You can depend on Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports. You know, I've got guys who are just the busiest men in the world. Our Georgia State sports team, we got Sam Crenshaw down in Atlanta. Dave Cohen's up in Norfolk, Virginia, and we'll find out where he's at right now. He was on the show this morning with Brandon Whiteside's hosting Hooked on Air. Now he's somewhere watching baseball. Harper LaBelle's with us. Hey, Harper.
Yeah, I'm in East Cobb, the facility here by Kell High School, where Perfect Game is, and they've got 8 fields, and every one of them has a game going on. They didn't care about the weather, Mike. They got some games to get in, and they're going to do it while the sun is up.
So how cold is it, Harper?
It's not as cold as it was when I woke up this morning, but it's getting close. It's pretty close. It's in the upper 30s, low 40s right now.
What is it about these young kids? It doesn't really affect them, does it?
No, isn't that amazing? You know, they can dive into a pool if it's icy. You know, we've got to do a polar bear challenge when we get older to be motivated to get in cold water. I think that's, you know, youth and wisdom or lack thereof is wasted on the youth. But you know, they just got to get it in, right? They play games, and it's so competitive here, Mike. That's the thing, you know. And the high school schedule has already begun, and there are people that are, you know, not quite in full swing, but they're as close as they can be to get as many games in as you can before the school season ends.
Yep, I think what this is, we're just on the high school level, the non-region games. We started on the 10th, so we're into the second week of the season, and they'll have another week of non-region games. Then we get ready for the region games starting in March, and there'll be 7 weeks, and then you get ready for the state playoffs. And it's like it just gets, as Brandon was talking about, it just you blink an eye. It's like, okay, you go one season to the next.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when I was in high school playing football, immediately when the season ended, I traded my cleats in for basketball shoes, and as soon as that's over, I trade the basketball shoes in for baseball cleats. So one from the other, and you know, the guys that do track or lacrosse or any other sport, you basically don't eat with your family because you're not home. You're at practice until about 6:30 or 7, and good luck getting your homework done.
I just think you're talking to Coach Cassie's got at Cherokee Bluff. One of her main players, Bristol Kirsch, is having a private workout today for a soccer scholarship. So it's like, okay, you're playing basketball in the state playoffs, you get this going, and it's like, and then your school life, and it all blends together, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does, and what a blessing to have that opportunity and to be good enough to have people that want to watch you play and are willing to schedule it out. I know Urban Meyer had said years ago, I look forward to, and I want the kids that we get out of high school that we're going to go to Ohio State or to Florida when he was there to play a second sport. Mm-hmm. You know, not to let that time go by without you moving and staying in shape and having direction and focusing on specific athletic traits that you would need that in many cases carry over into your football career. So I'm sure soccer loves the fact that there are girls out there that can play either softball or basketball at a high level, whether it be tennis, doesn't matter. But keep moving, and it'll help you with whatever you do in your athleticism.
All right, and with that, the NFL season's over now, the Super Bowl behind us, but now the next step is for those college athletes getting ready for the NFL Combine.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a pretty serious time. Very briefly, I got to meet Chip Smith, and I didn't know it was Chip Smith. I'm at a grocery store, and I'm turning from aisle 4 to aisle 5. And this guy says to me, you need to be an old player to wear a dirty, old, raggedy sweat top like that. I recognize that. And without looking at him, I said, you need to be able to recognize old players with dirty, old, raggedy sweat tops in order to be able to figure that out. I'm Harper LaBelle. He goes, I'm Chip Smith. I said, wait a second, are you the Chip Smith? And he says, well, that depends. What do you mean by that? And I go, I'll tell you, Chip, and I'll tell you. You're the guy that takes a 6'3", 240-pound linebacker who's probably going to go in the 6th round, maybe the 5th. He runs a 4.9, and he can bench 2.25 about 18 times. He spends 6 weeks with you. He runs a 4.7, and he gets 23 reps, and he goes from a 5th or 6th rounder to a 3rd rounder, and you've literally made that guy a millionaire. Is that the Chip Smith I'm talking to? He goes, yep, that's me.
Wow.
And I go, thank you. What a blessing you are. And basically the combine is a chance for all the linebackers, all the quarterbacks, all the left tackles to be put in the same place, tested equally, and then you have the ability to rank them. Teams, may notice that there's one guy who's a little faster, one is a little stronger, and they will score them differently based on how well they perform. But I think, Mike, like I said, it's a chance for a young guy that if he excels and does really well, even if he plays at a small school, he's got a chance to really catch up and surpass some of the big-name guys if he performs well at the Combine.
All right, we're talking to Harper Bell, our partner here on 97.5 Glory FM. How about the player that's not invited to the Combine? Do they have a chance, Harper?
Yeah, real tough. What they would probably do is go to a regional workout, like Georgia would have one, or maybe Tech has one, and see if they can't get in the back door, so to speak. Find out when those are. Because a lot of guys don't go to the Combine, but they're not ready yet, and they want to run for their school's tryout that they have for a certain amount of teams, and that's a way to get in the door.
Well, I'm talking about specifically our friend Dan Jackson, who played at North Hall, two-time MVP there with the University of Georgia as a walk-on. Never got a scholarship, was playing there. He's a starting defensive back for the team, probably 4.2, 4.3 speed, but he's not the typical big, athlete you're talking about, a smaller guy, but I'll go back to the point, he's a player, but he was not invited to the Combine, even though he went to the University of Georgia.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes you need a different way to get in. Sometimes that might be arena ball. Ask Kurt Warner how that worked out for him. It doesn't work out for a lot, but it does work out for some. You may want to go the XFL route. The USFL was an option that I had when I was in college. Long story short is there are other ways to kind of get yourself known if you don't get invited the normal way. But absolutely, if you don't get invited to the Combine, there are other things that you can do to get yourself ready for a very brief workout to get noticed, and maybe 1, 2, right? All it takes is 2, Mike. You got to have competition. If there's 2 teams that are interested in you, you got a chance.
All right, so how about you mentioned the XFL? It's gone back and forth the way that league has been in trying to survive. You got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who owns that league now, and trying to develop that into, is it going to be a spring football league, or is it going to be a place to get ready for the NFL draft?
Well, I'll be candid with you, Mike. The World League, remember when they had the Frankfurt Galaxy and the Barcelona Dragons back when I was playing, the owners were afraid that there's going to be a strike. And if there was, I was involved with, I was a scab. I crossed the line in 1987. I saw these guys making all this money, and I was making about $18,000 a year working at a truck stock. And I go, well, if they're not happy with what they got, I'll try. But long story short is to have enough players ready to still put a TV contractual team together so that you can have games, and have meaningful games between NFL teams. That's why they had these leagues. So now it's kind of like a D-League, what basketball does, or it's like the minor leagues with baseball. So you have a chance to see guys, have them quote-unquote game ready, or at least, get experience with some coaches that know what they're doing, and keep their careers going until they're able to make it, or until, in many cases, some of them just say, I'm going to hang it up. It's not happening, and unfortunately, it's not going to be a part of my livelihood.
Well, ask you a big question here, Harper, is that we heard the figures from the viewership of Super Bowl. Like 180 million people worldwide. What is the NFL doing that the other leagues are not doing to draw people to their product?
Well, some of the things, Mike, are just little changes, but I think the biggest one they've done most recently is the flag football phenomenon with girls in the high school level and eventually in the college ranks. You've got a completely different audience that will watch NFL games now because they've got a familiarity with the sport. Even if it is flag football, it doesn't have the same contact, but now you can grow it that way. Internationally, you see people in those London games, they're wearing jerseys for every team in the league. So there's certain folks that, if you take the soccer realm out of it, but apply that to football, is, some people say that they're a Maradona fan or they're a Ronaldo fan. You know what I mean? And
sure.
You've got local heroes that you root for and want to succeed. You're seeing jerseys of Josh Allen or, Patrick Mahomes for obvious reasons. So that's one way that the league grows. I'm sure there's plenty of others, but your ability to add women to it and obviously the international flavor are two massive open markets that are ready to be ripened and peeled, if you will, and reap the profit from it.
For some reason, Super Bowl is an event. And the other sports, Major League Baseball, World Series, not that way anymore. NBA playoffs, not that way anymore. NHL hockey, not that way. But it's something about the big game in the NFL people will see.
Yeah, it's a one and done, Mike. You don't have a series.
Yep.
And that's a unique difference. The playoff in every other sport in the world, including soccer, involves playing multiple games to get down to that one opportunity that you have. You don't have to win the best of four, best of seven, or best of five. And that I think carries its weight monumentally in why more people watch it. And you go back to 1958, Mike. You and I weren't around, but when Johnny Unitas hands off to Don Amici and he scores, and people saw it was different. It was amazing. It's sudden death. It was not extra innings. So there's a lot of interesting ways to look at the game and how it's grown. But the popularity of it is, it seems like it's never ending. There's more people that enjoy it.
But right now, you're out there in the cold watching your son play baseball. How about the growth of baseball now?
Well, what do you want to talk, major leagues, colleges?
I bet you got a pipeline. So starting out with the youth, like these kids of yours, playing the East Cobb, and you see there's a lot of people out there, right?
Goodness gracious, yeah. Georgia is a stomping ground, in my opinion. You've got certain places in football, like you got the city of Los Angeles, Miami, Dallas, and Atlanta is definitely one of those. They're in the top four. Some people will say Atlanta is three. They don't have quite as many as Los Angeles or Miami, but I would apply it to baseball. Absolutely, especially when you compete against teams from up north. You can play a lot longer here. You can play in better weather than today, but certainly you can play in February. You can't do that up north. So the growth of the game and how many people sponsor it, enjoy it, and keep it going. Yeah, the pipeline is full, Mike, at least in my opinion here. There's so many kids. There's 8 fields. There's a game on every one of them, different levels. I see kids that are probably 6 to 8 years old playing on one field, and you got the high schoolers just a few hundred yards away on a different field.
All right. The Dodgers have started spring training. You know that, right?
Oh, you know I'm smiling right now when you talk about the Dodgers. Yeah.
It's the Dodgers.
Yeah, they had what a lineup, and I know there are people that are saying, that's not fair. Well, they worked it out the same way others can. It's not like they don't have the ability to have contracts deferred and figure out ways to work around a quote-unquote tax and a cap. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Mike. I think it should be a fun season. I hope the Braves are as competitive. It looks like the Mets spent a small fortune on their immediate future. Getting Soto was a big deal for them, and re-signing their first baseman was a late addition. I don't think they wanted to spend as much, but there's good. The East has got great baseball, and we know that here in Georgia.
Yep, looking forward to the Braves playing today down in Florida. I wish the Dodgers were back at Vero Beach.
I miss him there too. I thought that was, when Vin Scully would say, "On a glorious day," from wherever it was. It's time for Dodger baseball. That's part of the game. Dick Enberg, of course, and everybody has some of their. Obviously here in Atlanta, with the Carries and everything. It's a part of our history, and we get to bring it into the present here with just another month to go before we're playing for real.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go. I heard the funniest thing on X. I was going through my post, and there was an old Atlanta. It had these little posts from former Atlanta Braves ball games from WTBS, and there was Harry. And it was one more time. It was Skip Carey working with Don Sutton, and it was take your dog out to Bart Park Day. And he had Larry Carey in the booth with him. It was like there was Skip and his dog next to him. But luckily, there's Larry Carey working with me today. It's like, okay, it's Harry and Larry. It was the funniest thing in the world. So it's like, you got to look at how the personal part of it is. Like with you, your son out there, and we'll have high school baseball starting just over a week after the basketball season ends. And it's like, okay, it's never ending, but boy, it's a lot of fun, isn't it?
I know, yeah, the memories that everybody has. And I remember the first time that I got to go to, actually my first game ever was in Anaheim, watching the old California Angels.
Wow.
And, just seeing the grass,
At the
once
Big
you
A.
get through all the concrete and everything like that, and the popcorn and the whole 9 yards. There's nothing like it. And I know, each and every kid's experience for their first time is not only special, but I call it meaningful, if you know what I mean. You have a chance to really dig deeper into something that's a part of our culture and has been, athletically for centuries.
It shaped me when I was 8 years old, and my dad took me to the first game ever played at Atlanta Stadium. It was a spring training game between the Milwaukee Braves and the Detroit Tigers, and it's like I will always remember that game. We're sitting.
And Ernie Harwell probably called that game, didn't he, Mike?
Yeah.
For the Tigers.
Yeah. And then a guy from Georgia, the legend. And Harp, you'll love this. I'm 8 years old, and I'm sitting with my dad in the next to the last row, dead away center field, upper level. And of course, I bring a glove with me. So
Did you get a ball?
Pardon? No, I didn't get a ball.
Did you get a ball?
No, I didn't get a ball. That was a long poke from that standpoint there at Atlanta Stadium.
Yeah, but nonetheless, even a foul ball in some place, wouldn't that have sealed the deal? I mean, was there anything better than that other than putting your baseball cards through the spokes of your front wheel of your Schwinn bicycle?
There ain't nothing like it, man, from that standpoint.
Man.
All right.
No kidding.
Thanks for taking time. Dave Cohen's not available, so I kept you a little longer because he's on the bus heading to Norfolk, Virginia to get ready for a college basketball game tonight, and I'll talk more about that in a minute, okay?
I think they're at JMU today, right?
No, they played JMU back on Thursday, lost out on the day they're in Norfolk taking on Old Dominion.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Never mind then. Yeah.
They got Wednesday and Friday, and then they get ready for the Sun Belt Conference tournament right here in a couple of weeks.
Well, not only that, but it gave you and I some extra time to talk about the 8-year-old Mike Wofford and his father having a great day.
That's what it's all about, isn't it?
Yep, sure is.
All right, buddy. Thanks much. Talk to you soon, bud.
Okay, Mike.
See you, sir. All right, as he says, it's a glorious day. No doubt about that. Here on 97.5 Glory FM. We got much more for you. We'll wrap things up here after this on the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Hello?
Hey, Mary.
Hope Bunch, the voice of Longstreet Cafe. What's up?
I'm calling everyone and reminding them about our home-cooked meals, great variety, and friendly atmosphere.
Wow, Hope, that's a good idea.
I was hoping you would think so. I want you to call everyone whose last name begins with a C all the way through Z.
No, wait.
Thanks, Mary.
Longstreet Cafe, with 2 Gainesville locations, online at longstreetcafe.com.
We put the home in cooking, and Mary, you put the friend in friendship.
Okay, I'm calling them.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5 Glory FM. He is available. Dave Cohen is with us here to wrap things up, previewing his game. He's in Norfolk, Virginia. We were talking about, but it's a glorious day up in Norfolk, Virginia, isn't it?
Sure is. It's pretty cold, mid-30s. A lot of snow still on the ground from that big snowstorm they got here the other night. But we got Georgia State Old Dominion tonight here from Chartway Arena. So we're over here right now at morning shoot-around, and we'll play tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern time.
In a game you should win, right?
Well, they're all woulda, coulda, shouldas, Mike. Had a tough one the other night over in Harrisonburg. Lost at James Madison 83-63. And, certainly we've seen South Alabama. We've seen Arkansas State. We've seen James Madison. I think those three teams right now are, the cream of the crop in the Sun Belt Conference. So right now, but Georgia State has won 5 of their last 7, and they're 12-16 and 7-8. And the interesting thing is that Old Dominion, although they've lost 4 straight, they're 11-17, and they are 7-8. So even though both teams looking to get back in the win column, from a standings standpoint, these two teams are tied at 7-8. The only two teams in the Sun Belt at 7-8. So there's some meaning behind this one, and some urgency behind this one tonight for Georgia State with regards to just keeping up with the standings and really looking ahead, thinking about seeding for the Sun Belt tournament when we get down to Pensacola.
Yeah, you're in the middle of the pack now, right?
Right in the middle of the pack, yep. And, we beat these guys in Atlanta, last week by the final score of 97-75. So you'd look at that score and you'd say, okay, now you're going to go play on the road. You should have a repeat performance. But, you've been around this game long enough. What you did last week doesn't necessarily reflect on how it will be when you go on the road and play them in their arena.
All right, so how about the atmosphere of this team? You see them off the court, you see them at the hotel, you see them at the restaurant, you see them at practice, that kind of thing. How is it, is playing on the road these last 4 games?
Well, this is a team that, win or lose, gets along really well. They enjoy the camaraderie, and, they have been playing well together recently, which, I was talking to Cesar Edwards, the Sun Belt Conference Player of the Week, at halftime of the game up at James Madison. And, it did take a little bit longer than expected with so many new faces on this roster for the chemistry to gel a little bit. And I think that they're doing that. They just ran into a really good JMU team on Thursday night that plays really well at home. This will be a little bit of a marker, an indication about how they were able to bounce back from a 20-point loss on Thursday night. But this is a team that gets along. The chemistry is really good, both on and off the floor. And I know they'd like to finish strong. Old Dominion has struggled this year. Then we play Coastal Carolina next Wednesday night in Conway, and then finish it up at Georgia Southern. Playing in Statesboro, just like for them playing in Atlanta. Throw the record out. You never know what you're going to get. But, tonight is a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Coastal Carolina definitely should be a win. They've been in and out of last place in the Sun Belt all year. And then you'll finish it up in Statesboro and see what happens.
Well, with 18 games on this schedule, if you can finish even 500 at 9-9, you're going to be in good shape. But still, the thing is, just getting the seeding and playing fewer games that you had to there in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament a couple weeks there in Pensacola. And then, people have to still remember only one team in the Sun Belt goes to the big tournament.
Yep. Well, the initial goal within the last few weeks, which, Georgia State's 5 out of 7 wins the last few weeks came at a good time. Just stay out of the bottom 4. Do not finish 11, 12, 13, and 14, so you don't have to play that in one of those first 2 games down in Pensacola on Tuesday, March 4. So, I think barring a collapse here, they've done that, and now they'll just play it out here the final 3 games and see how high a seeding they can get when they head to the tournament.
All right, I got 1 minute, buddy. Tell me about baseball with Coach Rumdahl.
Well, I've been watching from afar. They swept Belmont last weekend at the ballpark at Panthersville. And because of weather issues, instead of going to Jacksonville State, they're now hosting University of Tennessee at Martin this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And they picked up a win last night. So they're off to a 4-0 start. They're going to play, obviously, today and Saturday and Sunday for that 3-game series. Akron ended up going to play Jacksonville State. Again, that was all weather related, but off to a 4-0 start right now, and so far looking pretty good. The bats apparently are just, pounding the baseball, and the front end of the rotation seems to be pitching really well. So Ross Norman got I think he went 7 innings last night, which is the longest he's gone
and he picks up the win. And so again, off to a great start for Coach Stromdahl in baseball.
All right, we'll talk to you later. We got much more for you here on 97.5 Glory FM. We got high school basketball this evening, starting at 5:35. We'll be at East Hall High School as the Vikings go up against the Razorbacks across Creek, with the winner to play in the quarterfinal round coming up next week. We'll have the play-by-play for you right here on 97.5 Glory FM. That's the Saturday Morning Sports Show here on 97.5.
97.5 Glory FM is WGT.